Good morning. Welcome to your October SBDM webinar. So we have a bunch of different topics to cover today. So we're first going to learn about the Parent and Family Connection Hub. We're going to share some information on free KET SBDM 101 seeds, the SAR document, SBDM implications for schools identified as comprehensive and targeted support, council verification data, the curriculum process resource, advanced coursework policy, comprehensive improvement planning for schools, excuse me, and success stories of effective partnerships with families. So we're going to get started. I'm first going to turn it over to Marcia Van Hook. She is our full service community school manager here at the Kentucky Department of Education, and she's going to share some information on the Parent and Family Connection Hub. Your turn, Marcia.
Thank you, Mia. Good morning, everyone. And Mia, thank you for inviting me to come talk about this new resource that we have put out at KDE. Before we get started, I'll just let you know that we've done a soft launch. We're doing an official launch later in November. So I'm just going to show you what we have. And at the end, I will ask, do you see anything that might be missing from this resource from your vantage point? We found that's been very helpful as we've continued to finesse the website. We can go ahead, Mia, to the next slide. So first of all, let me tell you how the Parent and Family Connection Hub came about. The Family Partnership Council, which I serve as the chair, serves in an advisory role to KDE. And so just to let you know, that group is made up of members that are parents. They all have children that are school aged, whether that's K through 12 or pre-K through 12. And they're spread from all across the state and all different kinds of interest level. And so they're there just to provide information around their interest and things that they feel that are important. And they set their own agenda. That's the important part. They really let us know what they want to learn about, what they want to see. And so we really do work with them to create topics that will help them in their areas of support for schools, whatever level that is. We meet 4 times a year. Anyone can watch it. It's available on the KDE media portal, and all of the agendas, the minutes, and recordings of all the previous meetings are on the Family Partnership Council page. And I know Mia has already sent out this website, so you can use that link. So let me just get right into the heart of what we're talking about. This council made 4 recommendations in 2023. You can go ahead, Mia. And out of that was they wanted a one-stop shop so that it's parent facing, so that parents could easily find a variety of information. They wanted resources, connections, legislative updates, and news releases that came out of KDE. So out of that came the Parent and Family Connection Hub. It is accessible from the KDE homepage. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. And just to set the stage for what we're going to talk about, those resources are divided into, first of all, getting involved, how you help your child succeed academically, support for diverse needs, and then wellness and whole child supports. You can go ahead, Mia. I just want to remind everyone, now these are parent-facing documents. So in your role, you can use these however you feel might be helpful, point parents to this resource. So one of the things that I am most proud of, and I tell every group this, you can easily find this from the homepage. We've highlighted it there. It says Parent and Family Connection Hub. All you have to do is link that and you're straight there. We heard from parents in the Family Partnership Council. They were having a great deal of trouble finding resources and just finding the connection and the person and a document that they might need to help them support their child's education. So this has made this much easier for them. We can go ahead. So the first section, as I mentioned, is getting involved. You can see here, we'll continue to flesh out, I'm sure, as new resources become available. There's a couple different ways to access this. We have buttons on the left-hand side. We also have a series of buttons on the homepage for this website. We'll show that to you later. And this is just information. There's a quick snippet about, you can see there, the Family Partnership Council, which I've talked about, and then your group, which is school-based decision making. So you can follow those links and get to a ton of information if a parent's interested in becoming involved in those ways. We can go ahead, Mia. So and I kind of talked about just a deeper dive. You can see those links are here are really easy for you to access if you don't want to use that homepage over there, and just really how they can become a partner in your work. Let's go to the next page. So the next section is helping your child succeed. Go ahead. Someone have a question? I thought I heard something. We'll go ahead. The deep dive into the second section, which is helping your child succeed academically. And you can see from this slide, there are a host of links. And so this is a really robust section of how a parent can help their child. And so you can see we've linked out to chronic absenteeism resources. There's a ton of those. There's video. There are one-page sheets that even students can color to follow their attendance. The family guides, the family guide to assessment. We've linked how to get into Infinite Campus. We've linked to KET. There's a whole series of helping your little ones achieve big things, and it's really aimed from birth to school age. The legislative updates are there, open house, which is where you can find the school report card, all of the testing resources in terms of data, and a read at home family plan, and then the standards, which are family guides and resources. So if you ever want to know what your fourth grader is going to be learning in math or reading, you can go there. We can go to the next page. So the next section is support for diverse needs. So on that section, you'll find English learner and immigrant resources. There's a lot of information around IDEA, which is Individuals with Disabilities Acts. This has been a popular section as well because the documents there guide parents through what is an ARC meeting. It guides them through their parental rights. It guides them through, and I know sitting in ARC meetings, a lot of times you hand you hand that over the safeguards and what have you. This really walks them through what to expect when they come, so a little more informed and a little less afraid of what is going on in those meetings. And so that's been a really rich resource. There's the parent guide, which I was just talking about. There's also information for the Education for Homeless Children and Youth, which we call McKinney-Vento for short, which is Title IX. We can go to the next. So helping your child academically, we just talked about this is what it looks like when you go to that page. You can see these links are embedded, and what I just shared with you is like all of the things that you'll find on this page. So just so you know, this is what it will look like when you click that button. Okay, let's go to the next page. So let's go into wellness and whole child supports. I see that. That's a great question. And so we will, I think there might be, I think Gifted and Talented is in there. If not, we will go back and check. And that's why we do kind of shop this around a little bit and share it, because we always get great additions when we do this. So thank you for that very much. We'll double check and make sure we have some information in there. Deep dive into wellness. So the family involvement, and this has been a huge topic that even the educators that I've shared this with have loved, is the Parent and Family Toolbox, the Kentucky Collaborative for Families and Schools. There's a digital playbook. So if you're at a school, your school may be using it. They may not know about it, but there's an entire digital playbook to walk you through a framework of how to get parents involved. It's used a lot with family-friendly school certification, if you're familiar with that. The whole school, whole child, it talks about nutrition, it talks about physical activity. There's a lot of information that goes just beyond the academic classroom, but how do you really have your child be as healthy and as prepared to be successful as possible? And then the full service community schools, which I'm deeply involved with. So there's 4 pillars, just for those of you that may not know what that is. There are 4 pillars that community schools act upon. So they have very active family and community engagement, expanded and enriched learning times, integrated supports, and then collaborative leadership and practices to support high quality teaching. I saw a question, but it went away. Mia, it was about a flyer, I think.
Yeah, so it says, do you have a flyer that could be sent to parents to introduce the resources with link to access?
I will tell you that we are in development of having a nice flyer with our department there at KDE so that we have something you can print out. So it'd be a great resource to print out to the families. So thank you for that. Next one. So I talked about that. If you click on that link, this is what you see. I just went over all of those links that are there. And so embedded is just different links to some of those documents that are in there. So this is what it looks like, that little brief snippet. Now, I will say this, as I've shared this and we've gotten feedback, one of the things we've got, some of these pages are text heavy. So we're in the process of kind of addressing that issue so they're not so text heavy for a parent, and because we want it to be easy to get the information and easy to read. So next slide. So that parent and family toolbox that I just mentioned, it is a magnificent resource. If you've never seen it, there's a host of parent support organizations that are across the state that may be of interest to your parents. There's all sections on growing your knowledge around family engagement, disabilities. You can see it really goes into a lot of deeper details, assessment and standards, the alternative assessment, like some parents, they find out maybe their child is eligible for that and they don't know what that is. NTI days, which are the non-traditional days, your student records, transition, and employment. And again, these are all parent facing. So these are things that are in that parent and family toolbox. Let's go to the next page. This is one that I really wanted to highlight in that family guide. This has been so well received and kind of shocking that a lot of folks, even educators, didn't know this existed. So I wanted to make sure to highlight this. In the family resource guide, you can click on any grade level, and there's reading and math. And you can see by looking at this, the overview kind of describes what they're going to be learning. And then there's examples of your child's work at school, what you might expect to see as a parent, and then how to help your child at home, and then questions you can ask your child. And then the last part is really questions you can ask a child's teacher. So that part alone has been very popular to everyone that I've shown. There's like, oh, this is a great help for parents. Like they go to a parent conference and they may not know exactly how to get the conversation along that line or how to even ask questions of the teacher. And so this is a great help for them as well. So that is going back to the flyer. We really wanted to have a flyer to help parents find this resource and really use it, but this is a great section. Let's go to the next slide. And I did talk about the wellness and whole child support. So I just wanted to point out there is a link here to the Commonwealth Institute for Parent Leadership. That's called SIPL. That is provided through the Pritchard Committee. And so there's a lot of parents that join that to learn how to get into, it's a process, it's like a class, to become a SIPL fellow. And that's another opportunity for parents to get involved. We have it parked under wellness and whole child supports because it really does enhance the whole attempt to support the children. So there's links to all of these sections, and that's what it's going to look like for now. This is an example of a text-heavy page that we're going to kind of play with a little bit before our official launch. Next page. And I'm already here. So I wanted to know, were there any other questions or comments? And so as I was saying, and thank you all for commenting, is there anything else missing from this resource? We will have a flyer. I will double check on the gifted and talented. I think there's a link in there. It's been a while since I've developed this, but I'm going to go make sure. We've had great suggestions. So I'll take any comments or questions from anyone at this time.
I'll also make sure to send out that flyer to everyone. So once it's finished and developed, Marcia can share with me, and then I'll go ahead and send it out to you all.
We are, and I'll say this, thank you very much. Title I is in there. I see that question. Title I info is in there as far as what family, but remember, this is parent facing. And so we want to make sure all of those resources are parent focused resources. We will do an official launch, and there will be a news release. So if you are subscribed and you get the news releases, you will see it then. So just to share that. So thank you all for your time this morning. I appreciate your comments. And hopefully this is going to be a great resource for you in this role and as a parent, and you can share in your role there as the council. Thank you. And Mia, I am going to stay. My meeting was canceled.
Oh, well, you're welcome to hang out.
Okay,
Um,
thank you.
Thank you, Marcia. If you all are reviewing the resources and you have any additional comments or feedback, you're welcome to reach out to Marcia, or you can reach out to me, and I'm happy to send them along. All right, so we are excited to share that we are offering an additional 105 seats for SBDM 101 through KET. As a reminder, this is a self-paced course that is designed for new SBDM council members. You can share the SBDM 101 registration form that's linked on the slide. I also sent an email last week with the form attached. If you have any experienced council members, we still have council's role with continuous improvement and roles and responsibilities available for them as self-paced courses, if that is something they're interested in. And both of those trainings are free as well. This year's SAR document is ready for use for schools and districts. The Superintendent Annual Report, which is what SAR stands for, identifies which schools reach that 8% threshold to require minority representation. Your schools also have the option to use their Infinite Campus data from October 1st of 2024. If the school does decide to use their own Infinite Campus data and it conflicts with the SAR document, so one says that it reaches a threshold and the other one says it doesn't, you can use whichever one, but if you use your Infinite Campus data, just make sure to keep that report for 5 years. If one of your schools is identified as CSI, the school will create an advisory leadership team, also known as an ALT. Similar to SBDM councils, if the school reaches 8% threshold, those alt require minority representation on them as well. I talked about this a little bit last time, but just as a reminder, to read the SAR document, you're going to first see like an info page, and then you're going to see a whole list of schools in the state. If it's highlighted in yellow, that means that that school has at least 8% or more minority student population. If it is highlighted in green, then that school is currently identified or has been identified for CSI and requires an alt. And the last handful of pages are supplemental pages. You'll see a list of schools that are exempt from SBDM due to CSI status, as well as a list of schools that have exited CSI status and a date when they would be eligible for council restoration. So just as a reminder, if a school exits CSI status, they have to wait 2 years before the Board of Education can reinstate their council. School now showing. So there was then I'm reading your question. So you have a school showing 8% teacher minority was elected during the spring election, no parent minority. You do not need to hold in another election for a parent minority representative, because if you have a minority representative in that general election, then you do not have to proceed with those special elections. So that is going to be a 6-member council, if I'm reading your question correctly. Oh, so 3 parents. Dinah, if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to answer that question at the end. I think it might be easier for us to talk through that. So, as a reminder, schools that have been identified for CSI will have their SBDM authority transferred to the superintendent. This authority will remain there for at least 2 years after the school exits CSI status. And at that point, the local Board of Education can vote to restore SBDM authority to those schools. If your school has been identified as TSI, then it will retain its SBDM authority. Council verification data. So SBDM training verification data is due next month. Holy moly, it's already October and it's going to be November. You can enter the information in the Kentucky Web Application webpage. Under S, you should see SBDM Council verification. If you do not see that as an option, you'll have to contact your WAPOC and have them provide you access to that database. And just as a reminder, even if your school is identified as CSI and they do not have SBDMs, you will still have to enter those members' informations. So I just want to pause for a brief second and see if there's any questions or if anyone's had any errors on inputting information. So Tim, for your question, so if you haven't been able to get a minority parent representative, that seat will remain vacant. However, you should continue to advertise that vacancy to try to get someone elected and nominated. And if there is not a minority faculty member in the school, then a non-minority faculty member can be elected. So that school is just gonna have another non-minority teacher elected to the council. And then I'm just going to go through a handful of our resources that we've developed. So the KDE developed a resource to assist superintendents and principals in the selection of curriculum, textbook, and instructional materials. This contains suggested processes, a step-by-step graphic, and additional resources. You can find it linked on the PowerPoint, or you can find it on the SBDM Technical Documents webpage. We have also created sample policies for the advanced coursework policies for secondary and non-secondary schools. This is due to the changes in HB 190. So all SBDM schools require an advanced coursework policy. You can find them linked on the PowerPoint or within the SBDM handbook on the SBDM Technical Documents webpage. Phase 1 of the Comprehensive School Improvement Plan was due on October 1st, and we are currently in Phase 2. Phase 2 ends on November 1st, and this is going to be the needs assessment phase, in which schools are asked to consider the data reviewed and the process used to develop their needs assessment, a review of the previous plan and its implementation, data trends from the prior to academic years, including academic, cultural, and behavioral measures, the school's current condition using precise numbers and percentages, perception data gathered from administration of a valid and reliable measure of teaching and learning conditions, the school's strengths and leverages, areas in which the school will focus its resources and efforts in order to produce desired changes, and any additional requirements necessary by the receipt of federal funds. And finally, for the past several months, we have discussed the success stories of effective partnerships. So this is related to Marcia's work. You can find already submitted success stories within the link, but you can also learn more information about the Family Partnership Council and their resources on their website. That's all that I have for today. I'm going to put a link in the chat for the attendance form. Next month's webinar, so we normally host these on the second Tuesday of the month. Next month's webinar falls on Veterans Day, so KDE will be closed in observance of Veterans Day, so we're actually going to have it on the 18th. I will make sure to send out a reminder, just reminding everyone about the date change. But otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'm going to get caught up on all the chats questions.